Hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome back to Spotlight On. My guest today is the fabulous Diana Madison, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
We'll talk about that. Welcome back, AfterBuzzers. This is Spotlight On. I am so excited to introduce my guest today. She is a mega entrepreneur, a mompreneur, an actress, a producer, a beauty influencer, a mom, a wife, and an Armenian queen.
And a friend.
Actually, a former boss. A former boss. Diana, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice being here talking to you on your show.
Oh my God, thank you.
I remember when you started off as an intern, and I got goosebumps just saying that.
Oh my
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much, Diana. If those of you don't know, my first gig in this industry was through Holly Scoop years ago.
You did red carpets for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were the first person that put me on red carpets. Yeah, and I found you through my internship at Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, yes.
One of the editors there, Scott, had told me about you.
What did he say?
That intern for her, she just launched a Holly Scoop, get your feet wet and all that stuff. And we just bloomed, and I'm so excited that you're here.
That's where I started my career at Entertainment Tonight, where I met Maria, who actually is a part of AfterBuzz. So I love even seeing what Maria's done with AfterBuzz. It's
That's
awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro for even creating this platform so people like us,
I think it's amazing.
Have the chance. And you just said you were at dinner with her recently?
We were at a birthday dinner. We were sitting next to each other. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think she's an amazing woman. She was someone I was looking up to when I was starting my career, to follow in her footsteps, and I just love what she's done with her career, and she's been through so much. She's so tough. She's a warrior. I love her.
Oh my gosh, we love her. She's our role model here.
Yeah.
She's like our mom.
Yeah.
And this place gives us so much opportunity that back in the day we didn't have.
No, when I started my career at Entertainment Tonight, I left there because they were never going to hire me there. And I created Holly Scoop out of my parents' house in a little tiny room.
Man.
And it was just literally me trying to get an agent and a manager and make a reel. It was never I'm going to create this digital studio. It was literally I just need to make a reel. I just need to get a hosting gig.
Yeah.
Someone needs to hire. Nobody was hiring me. At that time, I'm Armenian. I don't I have an interesting look. It's not the typical look. Nobody wanted to hire me, and I literally had to create my own lane. But I didn't know what I was doing. That's the funny part. Now I feel if I was starting, I would be great, because then I could come to places like AfterBuzz, or I could go to Obsessed Studios, which is the digital company I own, with Holly Scoop and Fumble and Nerdwire, where we give so many opportunities for hosts. When I started, there wasn't these places, so I had to create my own lane.
I just got goosebumps you saying that, because you created Holly Scoop, and then that turned into Obsessed Media, which owns Fumble. And
Fumble is one of our biggest channels. It's sports.
Wow.
We have Nerdwire, which is really big. My online talk show. And Dream Big podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I've been so lucky in the last, I would say, 14 years since I launched it. I've met so many amazing people, interesting people, and I just think it's a really good time for women of diversity. With different ethnic backgrounds to be able to shine.
I am so happy that being Armenian, we can count on each other in this industry, especially our generation. We support each other.
Yes.
We collab, we repost. It's oh my God,
I think the Armenian community from day one, when I even started Holly Scoop, they were my core.
Yeah.
They were always very supportive. They were my core when I was on MySpace trying to make people go on Holly Scoop, go on the YouTube. The Armenian community has always been very supportive.
And you have evolved so much. I feel like you go on with whatever the industry is doing in such a smart way. See, there was podcasts, now you did podcasts. You're not late, you're right on time. And that takes a lot of grind and a lot of work ethic that we'll get to and all of that. Because I want to talk about everything. You launched Glowtopia. You're an actress now, coming up in Mob Town, which will air in December on Netflix.
December 13th will be in theaters. Yes. That's a picture with me with Danny A.
Oh, awesome. Yep.
He actually produced a movie. He directed it, and he was my co-star as well. I love him. He's been such a great mentor for me when it comes to the industry and acting. And then to my other side is Jamie-Lynn Sigler from Sopranos, which I even trip out even looking at this picture, because I admired her for so many years with the show Sopranos. I've been such a huge fan of her. So just to be in that scene was just like insane. I can't even.
Did you ever think you were going to be an actress? Like, I want to take it way back, but like,
right. Let's take it way back.
Yeah,
okay, I'll be honest.
Let's.
So as a little girl, I remember saying I wanted to act, but like that was never going to happen for an Armenian girl with the background I have. My parents were immigrants. Mine
too.
They were like confused with me just trying to be a host. They didn't get it. My dad was very supportive. Like when I did the Entertainment Tonight job, I had to take a shitty job, 3 a.m. shift that nobody wanted to do. I did the 3 a.m. shift on the news desk because I wanted to get out of the tape vault, which you've been there. You know how awful the tape. It's awful.
I had to file all those tapes that were always
you have
lost.
to log.
Yeah.
You have to log people's like interviews and you're in this like cold room and it's awful. So I took that 3 a.m. shift. My dad was upset that I wasn't going to go to law school, but he would follow me to work every day at 3 a.m. making sure I got to the work safe because at that time it was at Paramount Studios and he was very supportive, even though they didn't get what I was doing. So no, I always thought about acting, never thought about pursuing because I was like, it's never going to happen. And I had heard a lot of stories about the casting couch that kind of like,
of course,
had me a little bit, turned off from it. But I really love being me and hosting. It comes very naturally. I love being on camera. And I think that's why like falling into acting is just very organic. But I loved being me, and hosting isn't something that came naturally. I, wanted to do it. I wanted to build a career like Oprah, who was my role model. And the movie, how it happened is, I'll tell you how that happened.
Yeah.
So I was up for this project that I was hoping I would host. And unfortunately, the head of the network told me that I just was not going to host a show. And he said, we're going to go with a famous actress. And I think the decision was the right decision at the time, although I was devastated. And I was so devastated. I was 3 months pregnant with Christian. I thought it was the end of my career, end of my life. I was in a very dark place and I thought it was over. And I remember leaving there, and then it was Memorial Day weekend, and we went to Palm Springs with my husband and my friends, and I was crying, and everybody was like trying to console me. And one of my girlfriends was like, why don't you come with me to the Cannes Film Festival? I'm like, I'm 3 months pregnant, I'm not doing it. And my husband saw how hard that I was working on this for like 3 years. I thought it was going to be my big break. Wow. And for someone to tell me that I wasn't what they wanted because I wasn't a famous actress or whatever was awful to hear. Especially to your face. It's like this industry is so hard. Cutthroat. So it's very cutthroat, and you got to have thick skin. And you got to like sit there and be like, yeah, thank you for sharing that with me. And then walk outside and like, right? Because that's exactly what I did. And my husband was like, you should get up and go. And I was like, I don't want to go. So anyways, he books me a trip to go to the Cannes Film Festival. And I went 3 months pregnant. I went for like 3 days. And I was very inspired by what I saw. And like, check this out. So I got this acting coach number. Like I was just telling all my friends, and they're like, you should start acting. I'm like, I'm going to start acting. And I got this number of an acting coach, and I texted him, and get this. He's like, Diana, you texted me 2 years ago saying you wanted to get into acting, and then I never heard from you. So I had done that 2 years ago, but never pursued it. So I had to have this awful incident happen to really
realize that.
Push me into it. So get this. So again, still, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I started taking acting classes once a week. And I was doing it with this acting coach in Atlanta, so I would Skype with her.
Are you all the way in Atlanta?
She was in Atlanta, and I would Skype with her because she came highly recommended. And she was like, are you really? Well, her name is Sarah Mornell, and you guys should definitely check her out if you want to get into acting.
Okay.
So with Sarah Mornell, I literally remember I was like 9 months pregnant. I was about to give birth. She's like, is this for real? I'm like, yep, I'm about to give birth. I'll be back next week. So long story short, I started telling everybody in Hollywood that I want to act. And Danny had come to do my show, Danny A. And I literally was like, hey, I really want to get into acting. And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And then just time went by, and then like we would talk, and then I would see him places. We have a lot of mutual friends. And then just out of the blue, he was like, all right, I have a role for you to play a mob wife. It's called Mob Town. We film in New York. And when he called me, I just remember that moment. I really will never forget that moment. I didn't think it was real. And then when I went, crazy stuff happened that I felt like I was meant to do it. I was meant to be there. And when I was there for only like 2 days, but it was the most magical days of my life where I was like, wow, like who knew that in my 30s I would like find a passion and be like, why haven't I done this before? I really love doing this. Like seeing everything come alive on the movie set and being with the
Behind
other
the
actors.
scenes too, it's so crazy.
Behind the scenes and just being with the other actors. And I just feel like working with someone like Jamie-Lynn Sigler, David Arquette and Jennifer Esposito are in the movie, but I didn't meet them. I didn't have scenes with them, but I did meet, Jamie-Lynn Sigler. And she, I think she knew it was my first time. I think everybody knew, but she was so amazing and just so helpful. And I never had experienced that community kind of feel where everybody was helping each other. And, it just was a great feeling to be in that atmosphere where Danny was very helpful with me, patient with me. He knew it was my first time and he was walking me step by steps, and which is that's a great director. So it was one of the best experiences I had in my life. And then I just got booked for my second movie, which I go to film in the next month. And I am really excited about that too.
You officially have the acting bug. This is it.
I'm officially an actor now.
Yeah,
yes.
you're an actor. And also, you are proof to a lot of mothers out there and even minorities that you don't have to, your soul does not need to die after you have children.
Right.
And I know that's your purpose. You talk a lot about that. Just because you have a child or you're married, your career does not have to end.
No.
And for a long time, I was the opposite thinker of that. It was what am I going to do? How am I going to have kids and get married and still pursue this?
Right.
But you are an example. And so is Lilith.
Yeah.
I had Lilith on the show as well. Our other Armenian sister.
She's a good friend of mine.
How you can still do it with the routine and work ethic. So talk about that purpose of yours, that you really want mothers to know that you can still evolve.
Yes.
You still can continue your dreams and pursue it.
Right. I'm really big on that because for a long time I pushed the whole having kids thing because in Hollywood, it literally was not a written rule. It was never written. But it was you choose. You choose to have kids or you choose to have a career. And I think in this day and age, it's all about disrupting things that don't work. And that just doesn't work. I could have a career. I could build a family and build an empire. I could do it simultaneously. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Definitely isn't easy raising a family. And doing a career, but it's possible with the right organization, the right help. It takes a village to raise a family. And if your husband is supportive and you've got amazing parents and mother-in-law and mom and I got amazing help to always help me out if I have to be here to do this, it's doable. Is it hard? It's really hard, but I don't think it's this day and age where it's all right, you had the kid.
Yeah.
For example, Kim Kardashian gets a lot of heat when she posts pictures in the bikini, and it's but why? Just because I've seen people leave comments, you're a mom, and it's why? Just because she's a mom, people are gonna shame her for putting a picture in a bikini? You could feel sexy, you could be whatever you want
to
be.
True to yourself and just be authentic. And when you are, other people will see that as an example and then they will live their truth.
Right. So for me, it's really important to inspire other women, especially diverse women, to know that because for me, family is really important. It really is important. It's number one. But just because I have a family and, I'm married or I have kids, there's everybody. There's Ray. Ray would probably hate the fact that this picture is on the show because he doesn't like to be on camera and he's very low key. But that's what I like about him because he doesn't like to be on camera and he's very low key.
And he is so supportive of you and your career, and that's so important for you to thrive.
When we met, because I was having a really bad luck with men. And
really?
I was having every guy I would date would be you're a little crazy. This sounds weird. They would call me eccentric. Just because I was listen, I have a career that I want to pursue.
You have a goal.
I need to do this. And I just remember meeting a lot of guys who were just she's kind of too crazy obsessed with it. When I met Ray, because I had this really awful breakup before, he was told that if you want to date her, you need to know that she has this dream and she is going to do it. And so when I met him, he already knew that this is the guidelines. But regardless of that, he and we own Obsessed Studios together. We're business partners and husband and wife and parents. And we have learned to manage that relationship because working together is a whole other ballgame. But I'm really lucky. I have a really good support system.
Yeah. And I was going to say it's so important to have the support system with your husband because both of you evolve as human beings.
Right.
And when you're both going to the same direction in life, one thing is not lacking and one person is not bored or you know what I mean?
Right.
And you always keep each other on each other's toes.
Well, we have 2 kids, so there's definitely no boredom there.
They're so cute. How old are they now?
So
Colette
Christian is a year and a half. He's going to be 2 in December. Colette is going to be 4 in November, which is so crazy, by the way. I can't believe it.
And you're a mom. It's just so crazy. But I do want to take it back, first of all, how Holly Scoop started and when you know you had that confidence to start it. Because I know you were taking the LSAT, right? When you're like, I'm not doing this anymore.
So my parents really wanted me to do law. And so I studied political science at UC Santa Barbara.
Ooh.
And I was, working at KEYT, which is a local station.
Okay.
It's ABC owned. It was a local news station. And there I was interning. I learned everything. How to write scripts. How to
wow.
do everything. I also did Home Intimate TV in LA when I was 18.
Armenian.
Which is an Armenian local TV station. And there, boy, did I learn. I learned how to do everything there. Let's talk about that.
Home meant.
Yeah, right. Editing, everything. It's interesting because right now I own Upstep Studios. If there's no editor, I could sit there and edit. Am I the best editor? No. But I could edit. It's important no matter what you do. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, know every aspect of your business.
That's so important to know how to edit.
And let me tell you something. I like to consider myself a talent, not an entrepreneur. I wasn't trying to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I just fell into this place where I was like, I need to get on camera. No one's putting me on camera. How do I do this? And then YouTube was in beta and I was like, there was cat videos on YouTube and I was like, wait up. I need to put my video. Well, actually, this is how that all happened. Ryan Seacrest was having a contest on E! News with Juliana Rancic. I had interned there with Juliana, but that's a side note. So Ryan Seacrest is having this contest. Be on the red carpet with me for the Golden Globes. I sent my audition tape and it said you have to upload your audition tape interviewing somebody on YouTube. So I sent it to them and I was like, and they aired it on E! Our contestants. So I didn't win. I lost that contest. But that video I had uploaded, I interviewed a girlfriend of mine. She has a store. She had a store, so I had interviewed her about the clothes. Tell me about this shirt. Tell me about that top. Not that exciting. Whatever works. I mean, the lighting wasn't even working. That video got a lot of views. And I remember sitting there, I'm like, why did this video get a lot of views? The light wasn't working properly. I'm talking about clothes that, it's not even professional. It took off. And then I kind of was like, hey, there's something here. I sat there and I started hitting up all my friends in Hollywood because I worked at Entertainment Tonight. I had a Rolodex of amazing contacts. I hit them up. I'm like, can you get me on the red carpet? Because I was like, if they're not going to hire me because they say I'm too green, which is a term they use here in Hollywood where you don't have any experience. I'm like, I'm going to get some experience. So for me, it was just to make a reel. It wasn't let me,
you needed
build
the content.
a digital company.
Needed the content.
I just needed experience. It wasn't like I'm trying to make this company. It fell into it developed into what it is today, which is insane. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just literally trying to get some camera time.
And did you feel like after launching, Holly Scoop and turning it into Upstep and stuff, you had that inner confidence, finally, you in today's day and age with the right networking, you can actually blossom that into something and not wait for someone to be like, hey, I'm hiring you.
Listen, once again, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I wish
learned.
I wish I could tell you, I knew this was all going to happen. I wish I could tell you, my whole goal was to, just get on E! News, get on Entertainment Tonight, these shows that I was working for. My whole goal has been to have a talk show one day like Oprah. And even when I created my online talk show, which I've interviewed people from J-Lo to
Amanda Bynes,
which
got a lot of hate, right? You told me the Amanda Bynes.
I got a lot of hate. Here's the thing. Something I learned from that interview is I can't give too much control for the person I'm interviewing. So I was very sensitive to the situation she was in. We asked a lot of questions that were never aired in the video because she didn't feel like it was the time for her to talk about it because we had some great questions in there, but she wanted to make it fun and fluffy. So making it fun and fluffy, I got a lot of heat for it because they're like, why didn't you ask about this? And I'm like, I did. We just she kind of edited the video. So
Wow.
so that's a lesson I learned, is when you are doing your interviews, no matter how bad you want to get the interview, when you give too much control to the person, like, you might end up,
Yeah. And now, fast forward, you feel like you know how to navigate everything, and you're more confident.
But Amanda and we were working on a project together after that. So I was actually happy the way it came out, because after we did that interview, we were going to do a project together. It kind of fell through because of her health situation. So for me, most important is, like, she does good health-wise. And when I did that interview, she was in a great place. So I was very happy about that. So I feel like, did I, look bad? Yeah. Did I learn a lesson? Yes. Was she happy? Yes. And that was worth a lot to me.
And you've had a lot of high-profile people on your podcast, Lamar Odom, Kendra. Yeah. You're very open. I caught that one episode of you talking about kids and maybe wanting to freeze your eggs one day. Right. I love how open you are. Yeah. And as a mother and as a wife.
Why not?
Yeah, and we had a question on Instagram that someone wanted to ask you, actually. One of your fans, she was one of my co-hosts. We used to take classes together. Christina Kachiva. Mm-hmm. She's really pretty and she loves you. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
She's asking, oh my God, I love her Instagram. Ask her, how does she manage to do it all? Your work, your kids, your marriage, and look amazing. So what do you do?
Lookopia.
Yes, which we're going to talk about how that began. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Honestly, it is difficult. It's not easy. I had a breakdown yesterday. I just was like, I'm like, everything is happening and it's so great, but it's like, there's points where I'm like a little worn out. I leave for Paris tomorrow and I'm very nervous leaving the kids, even though it's 48 hours.
You're going only for 2 days and coming back?
Right. I do that.
Wow. Really?
I'll go to New York for 24 hours.
Oh my God.
Right. So I'll be in the plane more.
Do you go with your husband, or like he stays with the kids?
This trip is for work, so I'm going by myself, and he does not want to go to Paris Fashion Week.
Right.
Me and my husband, we just came from our annual vacation where we take time alone, and we want to have some time to ourselves, because I think it's important when you're married, especially when you have kids, to put time for husband and wife, you guys. Right. Yes. So we just did that. That was
fun. So you're going to Paris and you have to navigate it because your kids are back home.
So what I do is I'm very organized. So once you have kids, you have to get very, very organized. Like, I would say every second of my day is organized. And I pushed this interview a couple of times because I knew I was like, I have to do it at a time where I know I could do it.
Getting her here was a struggle. It's all worth it.
I'm so happy I'm here.
Yeah, and it happened after the Emmys too, because I had some stuff going on before that as well. So I feel like it worked out well.
It worked out well. But I think that's what it is. Like, I'm very organized. Like, every minute of my day is calculated.
Yeah, no, but that's how you have to be. And that's how your kids will be in the future, how to work along with you.
And Ray and I are like that. We'll be like, all right, what's the schedule today? And we'll go through it, and who's doing what, who's picking up who. It's we work together a lot.
You talk a lot about mommy guilt.
Yeah.
So any advice for moms out there with mommy guilt? Like, how do you work
I'm
through
having
it?
that right now because I'm going to Paris tomorrow.
And Christian's sick. You mentioned he has a fever.
Yeah, he has a fever.
Oh,
so
my nephew had a fever recently too. Right. It's hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
They have a lot of fevers.
Yeah, right?
Oh, the fevers. What was the question? I just got caught up in Christian. I'm like, wait, how is he doing right now? Where's my phone?
Mommy guilt and how you can kind of tackle that. You know, when a lot of moms are watching this, a lot of young mothers.
I actually asked that to Ariana Huffington.
I love her.
Yeah.
She is so, amazing. I love her.
So I asked her that, and she said, when you have a kid, it's like they put that mom guilt in you.
Already?
It's just like, it's just a kid comes out and they put the mom guilt in. And it's true. Like, I think no matter what, you're going to have it. It's just like knowing that, like, everything is, like, temporary.
Yeah.
The fever's temporary. The trip is, like, quick. You know, as long as you know it's temporary, and the feelings you have as a mom with mom guilt are temporary. Yeah.
What's one habit that you've picked up in the last 5 years that has improved your life? Whether it can be an actual thing or just a habit or a mindset. What have you done differently, or maybe
I'll tell you.
That has worked for you.
Something that has tremendously changed my life for the better is doing meditation daily.
Do you have an app? You have the app?
I don't really have the apps. I have some meditation that someone had sent me.
Good for you.
And literally doing the meditation. Actually, Ariana's sister, Agape, she has a lot of meditations that she sent me. You guys should follow her. But she's on Instagram. So I have some meditations that people have sent me, and I do it day. Sometimes I do it at night, depends on how bad it is. And sometimes it could be from 5 minutes in the morning to like 20 minutes. And sometimes I don't get to do it till nighttime when I'm in bed. And like last night I was really tired. I just put the meditation music and I like fell asleep to it.
And you have your journal that you journal what you're grateful for.
Right.
So
I
you
think
meditate,
it's important to be grateful and appreciative for little things. Like I'm very grateful that I'm here right now, you know?
Aww.
Every moment should be appreciated because like one thing I've learned is we get so caught up in like getting there and the success and like getting there. But we don't realize that like every step we take along the way is a part of like the success.
It's the journey. Abraham Hicks talks about that.
I love him.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, her. What? It's Abraham, but it's a woman. Don't ask why, but it's Abraham Hicks, and she talks a lot. What's her and her husband actually? So it is him. They talk about how
because isn't she used the name as?
Yeah, it's Abraham Hicks, but it's Esther. That's
right.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. She's amazing. She talks about
Oprah is a big fan
of them,
right,
I guess,
right.
as a couple. So she has books, or they have books, and she talks about how the journey is what makes you. And people always say, I'll be happy when I get the next job, or I'll be happy when I get that boy, or I'll be happy when I get $50,000. You have to be happy now and be on that level to attract that level.
Because you see a lot of people that when they become famous, like if you have issues when you become famous, issues get worse. And if you are like you have certain tendencies when you become famous. Like if I feel like someone like Oprah, like you could see that she's like a really good person. As she became famous, she became even better because she gives back and she, do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then there's other people that struggle, and then when they get there, the struggles get harder with their addictions and all that. So I think it's important, literally important to just focus on the moment.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. This past year has been really hard for me because I lost a friend in a car accident.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And she was like really like, you know, beautiful and smart. And she was very successful. She had a big clothing line. And we kind of like, we were told by the family to like just, you know, keep like, I didn't want to post and all that stuff about it. But it's really affected my life. And I just, from that situation, it happened last October. Which is coming up, which is crazy. But from that situation, it's just been really interesting, like how I'm living my life. It's like, it shifted me a little bit. Like where I like appreciate every moment.
Yeah, no, and actually it opens your eyes to so many other situations in life when someone does die. Because then all of these things are just for fun. You know, there's people out there, unfortunately, dying out there. And people, it's so scary. And what we do, and we're alive and we're healthy. I always say, and you talk about this, health. Number one is health. And before we talk about Glowtopia, I wanted to say one of my good friends in the industry, he always says fame doesn't change you. It just exposes who you really are.
Right.
So if you do have any issues, and I think mental health is number one, always educate, self-help books, meditate, write, work on yourself, invest in yourself. But yeah, now I want to talk about Glowtopia because I know you have to leave at 4. You gotta pick up Colette.
Yes.
But so she gifted this to me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you to use it.
Yeah, prickly pear.
Yeah.
So tell me how this came about and when can we use it and all that good stuff. I'm gonna open it.
So basically, this is my first product for my beauty brand, Madison Beauty. First of many. I'm already working on number 2.
There you go.
Working on the second product right now. But so this is a face oil, which is a multi-purpose oil. You could put in your hair like I did today.
Yeah.
Takes care of the frizz. Takes care of dryness in your hair.
Oh my
You could put it on your body. You could mix it in your moisturizer. You could mix it in your highlighter. You can mix it in whatever you want to mix it in. I've had a lot of people come on my show, and it's been fun seeing them do fun things. Like Makeup by Griselda came yesterday. She put it in the eyeshadow with Mac Daddy's Artist of Couture.
Wow.
And then, I've had other people use it as a lip mask. People are getting really creative with it. It's literally a face oil that I created out of a purpose and a need. I wasn't planning on, I did Glam Masters.
With Kim K.
Right.
Yes.
I did Glam Masters, and I was really thinking about the whole beauty space, but I wasn't going to launch a product that didn't feel genuine. But I had just had Colette. I went to Coachella, and when I went to Coachella, I got a really bad case of rashes and hives. And it was gross.
Wow.
I remember being like, oh my God, what am I going to wear? None of the clothes I brought, everything was short skirts, short shorts. There was nothing to wear. And I went to see a local dermatologist. And the dermatologist told me, you have a really bad case of eczema. And I was like, wait, eczema? How did this come about? I've never had it before. And when you have a baby, things change. Like your hair starts falling off. You get, your hormones are all over the place. Things happen. So he was like, go to Rite Aid and go and look in the clean beauty section. So I did. I was like, wait, what's clean beauty? This is 3 years ago when it wasn't a thing. Now it's a thing.
Yeah.
So I go to the clean beauty section and I was like, this is clean beauty? Like, I just kind of was like, I would never tell anyone I'm using any of these products.
Yeah.
I would hide these products underneath like the sink, right? So I thought about it and I'm like, and this is the like entrepreneur in me. I'm like, clean beauty needs to be done better. Like it needs to look better. It needs to be Instagrammable. Like this is
of course
ugly.
So cute.
So then my mom went to Morocco and she had brought back this product that had the prickly pear seed oil as the hero element. And I didn't like the product so much because it was too sticky, but I did realize how helpful the prickly pear seed oil is, because when you have eczema, you need to hydrate your skin so your skin doesn't dry up and doesn't crack, which is what happened to me. Wow. So I went to Coachella. It's dry there.
Of course, desert.
And I had to moisturize. And I actually hate moisturizing. So it's something I hate doing. So then I was like, this is great. So I wanted to buy more. I can't even get the product off the flight to Morocco. Although it was too sticky. Like, I'm on the go. I can't wait for a product. This is why I hate moisturizing. I can't wait for a product to dry up. Like, I need to put it on, let it dry, and run out. So then I was like, this needs to be done better. It literally came out of a need of like, I need it. I can't find it. It needs to be done better. Disrupt it, right? Disrupt it. So I worked on it for 3 years.
3 years. That's
I could have,
Wow.
I could have launched the product a year ago, but I didn't because I really needed to perfect it, especially if I was going to put my name on something.
Yeah.
At this point of my life, like I gotta make sure it's good and it's right and I'm proud of. And I gotta be honest, like I'm really proud of this product. It is so helpful for a lot of people. Not a lot of people like oils, and I get that. I like to use oils, but I use it day and night as is, or I could use it sometimes in my moisturizer. Sometimes I can mix a drop in my foundation. If you have oily skin, I wouldn't do more than a drop. If you have dry skin, you could do more than a drop. But I remember when I did the photo shoot, and Raquel Lizama, who does, Ariana Grande's makeup, Lala's makeup, Beyonce's makeup.
Wow.
He did the photo shoot, and he's been my friend for when we both just started. We were like, just starting out. And when he was like, I'm taking this, I'm like, I don't have any products. I have one sample. He's like, I'm taking it. It's Grammys weekend. I'm taking it. So when he said that, I was like, wow, I think it's good. And he was like, it dries up so quickly. And I was like, that's the point.
Yeah.
So, I'm really proud of this. It dries up quickly, which is really important for me.
Very universal.
Yeah, and it's a multi-purpose product. You can use it everywhere. And I just thought, like, I wanted to make it
cute.
Instagrammable. So you can put it on your bathroom shelf.
Yeah, vanity, buy your perfumes and all of that. And also, it was in Vogue. Don't forget that major detail. It was mentioned in Vogue as a must-have product, like
for
something
fall.
like that.
I couldn't believe it.
That's insane.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I might cry just talking about that because I've always dreamed about Vogue. And I read Vogue as a little girl and I still buy Vogue and dreamed about it. I never thought like this would happen, but it's happening. And I'm just so grateful to God and the universe for giving me these amazing opportunities.
Yeah, and the
support from the beauty community.
Support from the beauty community. And speaking of a beauty community, you just met Lady Gaga. You have to tell me how that was, how that would go, because she looks so amazing.
I literally remember when Lady Gaga started her career. She started her career same time I started high school. Wow. I remember that clearly.
Poker face.
Right, poker face. I just remember I was at the Oscars this year and seeing Lady Gaga win that Oscar and that speech she gave really... Michael Costello texted me that second saying, I feel like this is you talking. Because I feel her. Like, she's Lady Gaga and she had to fight for that role. This town is so hard.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. So I really connect her for that purpose of as talented as she is and as famous as she is, Lady Gaga still has to hear that she's not good enough for a role. And by the way, she was more than good enough for that role.
She killed it. She killed was amazing.
And I can't even imagine anybody else doing that role. Star is Born. So when she won the Oscar, it was so important for me. And it was such a crazy moment. And I just those quotes, those speeches she gave throughout the whole award show season, I was living and breathing it. Because listen, I love what I do. But I deal with a lot of rejections. I deal with a lot of no's. I deal with a lot of you're not pretty enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough. I mean, on a daily basis. So I really resonated with all she was saying. So when it was her party, and for the launch of Haas
That's what it's called,
Laboratories.
Haas?
Yeah, Haas Laboratories.
Haas Laboratories.
I got to meet her and I told her, by the way, your Oscar speech, anytime I'm down, which is true, anytime I'm down, I go to that Oscar speech as like a way to pump me up. And
Is
she
that
was
what
so
you do?
cool.
You watch it?
I watched it a couple
good
of
for
times. Yeah, when I've
you.
been in a very dark place. And I get to those places a lot when I'm, dealing with rejections and dealing with stuff that you have no control over.
A recent speech that was really well noticed was Michelle Williams.
Right.
At the Emmys, how she talked about if women need help with something, invest in them.
Right.
Whether it's voice lessons, diverse woman, whatever it is. And this is our time right now as women, like you mentioned.
It's a good time for women.
This is our good time. And, I'm so proud of people like you in our industry who always try to give back. You're always giving tips to everyone who's starting out. So for new and up and coming entertainers and hosts, what advice would you give to anyone starting out now?
So I would say a good advice, I would say.
Yeah.
When I started 14 years ago, I didn't know.
14 years ago?
Right.
It's crazy. We're
It's
old
crazy.
now. No, I'm joking.
It's crazy. So when I started 14 years ago, it was a different way of doing hosting. You go to a small town. I didn't do that. I created my own lane.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I cannot go to a small town. I'm this LA girl, Armenian community.
We need our food.
I need my mom. I need my food. I need my dad. So I wasn't going to do that. But a lot of people have done that. And obviously they've gotten great careers out of it.
Smaller market. They go
You go to smaller market and then you move your way up. And this day and age, if you want to do hosting, I would say start hosting. What does that mean? Start uploading videos on a YouTube channel. And it doesn't matter if it gets 5 views or 10 views or 50 views. Just do it and try to get yourself familiar with the camera. Try to get comfortable in front of the camera. Someone had sent me their reel and they were like, they work in a local news in I think North Carolina. And they want to be an entertainment reporter. And I watched the reel to help that person out. I've never met them. But I watched the reel and I was like, you want to be an entertainment reporter, but nothing in this reel has entertainment in it. Yeah. It's like someone died in a car shooting or I don't know. It's like stuff that has nothing to do with entertainment. It's typical stuff that you would find in a small town, right? Like a local bakery open or, stuff like that. So I said, go in front of a movie theater, grab a newspaper or maybe just go in front of a movie theater and talk about the box office recap. Something as simple as that.
Smart.
I think the smartest thing to do is literally if you want to be a host, start acting like a host, start dressing like a host, start talking like a host, start uploading videos like a host, you're already a host. And I think it's important Peter Crone was on my show for Dream Big and he was in that show Heal on Netflix. And he said to me, he said, you really got to start living in that way of what you want to become. So it's not so much I'm going to be a host one day, start living as a host today. Right?
Yeah.
So start
manifesting it you're already that.
You're already that.
Yeah.
So start doing those videos. Start uploading it. Tell all your family, friends to watch. I remember even till this day, my podcast, I make everybody on their podcast app download my show. I call it shameless promotion. Tell anybody that is willing to listen about what you're doing.
And what's one thing you do to deal with negativity? Whether it's someone not supporting you or if you feel like someone's just not on that same level. What kind of tips can you give to someone who, even online bullying and all of that? What's your go-to?
Okay. I've dealt with so much negativity in the last 14 years, so much. I've become kind of numb to it where I'm at that point where sometimes it doesn't bother me and then sometimes they trigger something in me and it'll upset me. But I've kind of become numb to it. And now I kind of befriend my heaters and I'll just start talking to them and then I'll find out they're having a bad day and then they're like, you know what, you're not so bad after all. And then we become friends. And I think people, when they send you a negative comment, they're going through something. So it's important to be compassionate to understand what they're going through. And once I've started talking to them, I realized hey, they're having a hard time and and they don't have this, da-da-da. And then I realized that everyone's going through something. I just don't think the comments come out of nowhere, and most of the time the comments have nothing to do with you. It has to do with the person.
I always say
comments.
that too. If someone has to reach out to you in a bad way, probably something's going on with them, and there's something
Right.
in you triggers them that maybe it's something
Right.
that they didn't have time to reach in their
Right.
life, or you know what I mean. And I
Right.
always say, spread love, ask
Right.
questions. You know,
Right.
everyone is blessed and has opportunities on
Right.
different levels. We can't all be the same,
Right.
but you do a great job with always reposting, helping people, and all of that.
Right. You know, I think it's important to like give back and like hold each other's hand and see like how can I help you out and how can I support you. And along with that, I think with the criticism, sometimes the criticisms, like I'm telling you, I've heard stuff about me and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna take it as a constructive criticism because I think they were right. Like that was an awful interview. And then there's times where I'm like, I really enjoyed doing it. Like when people talk about my lips, like that's annoying, and I'm like, oh, you've got
What's wrong with your
I always
lips?
get messages about my paper thin lips, and I'm just like, really, like get more creative.
No. I'm telling you, if someone always gets to you, or it's because they're bitter and something's going on.
No, but I'm
with
just
them,
saying,
but,
like some of them are like that. Like it's like your lips
you have
are
nice plumpy lips.
Well, I'm just
Like,
saying, like, well, I drew it double liner, but
you're
my point
right,
is,
like,
my point is, like, when
yeah.
they say that, I'm just like, get more creative. But
Yeah.
if they're just like, well, I should have asked that question, like, maybe they had a point there.
you know, but you do so well because people look up to you.
Oh,
You
really?
Yeah, you're breaking barriers. Like in our Armenian community, you've never been negative, and you've always been so awesome. Like,
love you.
I love you too. Like we go way back. But before we wrap this up,
Oh my God, we're
I
done?
I know, because you're gonna come back. This is nothing. One last question: if you were given your very own billboard on Sunset
Okay.
Boulevard to have your own statement on there, what would it say? Your
Oh my
own
God,
billboard.
dream big.
How did I know you're gonna say that? Yeah.
Wait, am I manifesting right now
Yeah.
a billboard on Sunset
Yeah.
Boulevard with dream big?
There you
Is this
go.
a vortex right now?
There you-
Or-
Abraham Hicks talks about going in your vortex
Right.
always, all the time. So dream big. Yeah, that's awesome.
Dream big.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Where can people find you on Instagram, and where can they buy this little thing?
Right. You could find me at Diana Madison. You could buy this at Diana Madison Beauty. Diana Madison.
Yeah, there you go. And you can follow me on Instagram at Louisa Sharamatian and on Twitter at Lou Sharamatian. Thank you so
Yes.
much for coming. We will see you guys next time.
Bye,
everybody. Mwah.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.